Good morning, and welcome to Diary of a Professor, Journal Entry 4. Okay, while we do coffee time with Professor Ron, let's talk about what's going on right now. So I'm teaching music appreciation, teaching American music, and of course other courses. I'm a percussion instructor, percussion professor. Doing applied percussion 1, 2, 3, 4, percussion ensemble, drumline, all kinds of cool classes. Enjoy it, have a blast. It's awesome. But we're in week 7, and I'm getting a lot of pronto text messages. I'm getting emails, Blackboard messages. I'm all good with that. Please communicate. It's so important to communicate and reach out and get help. But here's the thing. Whether it's through text, email, messages, or even on my live face-to-face classes, there's something that's happening in week 7, and this, happens in week 8. It can happen really in any week where students are asking for extensions on assignments, or they want to redo the assignment 2, 3, or 4 times, or they're like, "Hey, Mr. S, do you have any extra credit in music appreciation?" It's hard not to chuckle at that because, it's music appreciation. We're not splitting atoms. You're not, working on derivatives or quadratics or coming up with some new theory of the universe. You just need to do your work. Listen to a song like Yesterday by the Beatles, and music appreciation or American music, and how's that song make you feel? And if you have a few weeks to do the assignments, just do the work. So while I may certainly consider extra credit from time to time in a rare circumstance, or special circumstance, of course, and I'm good with that. Now, so other things that need us to think about is, okay, what's up with late work? If you're watching this, you're like, "Oh, teachers don't have a heart, and why can't I turn in late work, and why is there no extra credit?" All right, think about it like this. As you enjoy the ambiance and the atmosphere and the birds and the sound and the just beautiful fresh air and nice view. So in classes, teachers grade things by a schedule. So what you want to do is you got to think about, okay, if I have a few weeks to do the assignment, I want to make sure to kind of get myself organized and just get things done in a timely manner. Now, easier said than done, so let me give an example in terms of getting yourself organized and turning in your work on time, etc. In my class, music appreciation, week 1, it's the intro, it's the syllabus, it's practice quiz, practice assignments, get the ball rolling, get to know each other, this kind of thing. But from week 2 to week 5 in my music appreciation course, whether it be live, hybrid, or online, what we do week 2 to week 5 is the Elements of Music lecture series. It's the first big lecture series. And what you have in the Elements of Music lecture series is there's one lecture, like it's one big lecture for the online, 2 lectures per week in the face-to-face classes. So for example, if you're taking the online music appreciation course, you're going to do, lecture 1, 2, 3, 4. You're going to do journal 1, 2, 3, 4, and you're going to have one Padlet assignment, and then a quiz. But here's the cool thing. So all the work that you're going to do in this Elements of Music lecture series or like the first big module, it's actually all due at the end of week 5, which would be on Sunday at 11. So for me, I don't think there's really a need to give all these late work extensions, because if you have 4 weeks to do all the work, you just gotta plan and kind of really just do the work. So I give the example of like the music appreciation class, because if week 1 is like getting the ball rolling and some practice assignments and class discussions, then in my course, if I'm saying, hey, you have from week 2 to week 5, and of course, even in week 2, I have it set up in such a way where, 1 lecture per week online, 2 lectures, and of course mixed in activities, in the live classes. Of course, class discussions, activities. But the thing is if you're using like what I do, which I'd call modular due dates. With modular due dates, everything is set up as like, this module runs for 2, 3, or 4 weeks. And while you have assigned weekly assignments, activities, discussions, with modular due dates, it's all due at the end of the series and or the module. And in my case, the work is from week 2 to week 5. So then while things are assigned weekly, the actual due dates are modular. So it's at the end of the module, which for this one, week 5, Sunday, on or before 11. So I don't see any reason to give extensions or extra credit or late work. Stop living your life in the late zone. If you're watching this video, you're probably just curious, like, who is this guy? Diary professor. What is this all about? Why is it so loud outside? And why can't I get extra credit to turn in late work? I guess it's easy for any teacher to be like, hey, get yourself organized and get a planner and get a calendar and it's easy to say all these things, but it certainly can be a challenge to kind of get yourself in order. So now that I've talked about the basis of getting organized, not necessarily getting organized, but how I set up the class so that there really shouldn't be late work or extra credit needed. Let me tell you, basically, for me, my late work policy, it's real simple. I don't do late work. There's no late work in any of my courses. However, there is an exception clause in the syllabus and something I talk about with my students live, online, hybrid, whether it's percussion, music history, appreciation, American music, fundamental music, whatever the class is. I have a no late work policy, but the exception clause is simple. If you have a life emergency, just communicate once you've gotten through that life emergency, or once you're well on the way through this emergency being close to being resolved. Either way, life happens. Teachers have a heart. We care about our students' success. We have a vested interest in all of our students' success, and we want you to do well. We want you to do awesome. But if a teacher's, teaching, 5 or maybe 6 classes or 4 classes or however many classes that the teacher has, whether it be high school or college, and you have 7, 8, 9 classes, or a college professor's teaching maybe 2, 3, 4 classes at a research institution. They're teaching a smaller load based on research, and for me, I'll teach 5 courses, and anywhere from I may have 28 or maybe I have 32 per class, but in the high 20s and low 30s. So you get 100 plus students. You could end up having 120, 30, 40, or maybe even 150 students. And at the bigger schools, if you're using lecture halls, you're talking hundreds and hundreds in these big lecture halls for maybe bigger institutions. So you gotta think about it like this: the teachers, gonna have 3, 4, 5 courses, classes. They may not all be different. It may be like a couple sections of the same course, but different. Of course, different classes too. And a student, whether it be high school or college, they have anywhere from 2, 3, 4 teachers. In high school they're having different teachers per class, period, all that kind of stuff. But in college, if we say that the average student maybe has 2 or 3 professors, then the average professor maybe has 100 plus or more students. It's a big ratio difference there. So when students start emailing and asking for extra credit, certainly nothing wrong with that, but we just really need to think, is that the best use of my time to ask for late work and extra credit? Do I really need the extra credit or late work? Was there an emergency? So yes, you want to email. Yes, you want to use Pronto. Yes, there's nothing wrong with asking for an extension or late work, extra credit. But all that's going to come down to the syllabus policies and your emergency. So of course, student gets in a car accident. You lose a family member. Yes, absolutely. You're going through some life struggles. You just gotta look at the syllabus rules. You gotta communicate the emergency situation. I'm gonna say it again and again and again. Like, teachers have a heart. We do care. It's just we have a lot of students. That's all it is. It's a lot of students, and we've just got to kind of ferret out. The sincerity, the realness, like who really has that emergency. And you're not required to tell your teachers or professors like your whole life story and emergency. There are offices and departments at institutions where you can submit, your emergency information, your paperwork, so that you can get approved, for extensions, accommodations, basically any kind of like counseling services is going to have, some kind of plan where you can, submit, your paperwork. And bugs in the way here. So, these services that institutions offer, you want to utilize those. So if we've got counseling services and whatever the school has where you can get help. It's not just typically with something like counseling services. It's counseling services, accommodations, um, you know uh, disability accommodations, learning accommodations, family life crisis accommodations that you can get help with. You definitely want to get like the help that you need, and teachers want to help you on the way to if you have questions or where to go at your particular school to get all that help. Yeah, yes, we care. We want to help you. But when too many students are asking for late work and extensions or extra credit, it can get to be a lot. And when we're in week 7, and then of course heading into week 8 and beyond, I mean, as I said, people can, students will ask for these at all times. Just try to keep in mind, that if too many students are asking about late work extensions and extra credit, it can get overwhelming for any teacher, just as much as it's overwhelming for a student. So, is it possible for a teacher to approve late work? Yes. Is it possible to get an extension? Yes. Is extra credit considered in some courses? That's certainly possible. Just communication is the most important thing I want to emphasize. Just be real, be honest. If you're in a real emergency and you're worried about a particular class and you've been doing great or whatever, or you've been having a tough time, it's up to the student what they would like to share with their teacher, but they're not required to, again, pour their whole life story out. This is why we have those offices where you can submit paperwork privately, confidentially, and if you submit paperwork to say, counseling services, accommodations, just to get some help. Teachers don't get all that private information. They just get what you're approved for. Now, teachers can also approve the student for whatever late work extensions or extra credit they want. I mean, it's kind of their prerogative based on syllabus, policies, rules of that particular teacher and/or class. But again, students don't have to, share super specifics about any life emergencies, beyond what maybe the professor or course requires to get approved. It does come back to the syllabus policies, of course, institution policies. But all students and teachers, we all just got to remind ourselves of the rules and the rights and the guidelines and the offices that can help us out. So I don't mean to rant and rave, but I just think it's important for everyone to know that we're all here to help you. We want you to do awesome. I think also students need to be thinking about, if you're asking for late work, you might be doing too much. So one of the things that stems from a student wanting to turn in late work or ask for late work is you're working a job 40 hours a week or more. Maybe you're working 2 jobs. Maybe you're going to night school. Maybe non-traditional student. Certainly understandable. It's tough to juggle, life things when you're on your path to, trying to grow and improve and get the degree and really just trying to make your dreams come true. We totally get it. So think about it like this: what's due tomorrow, we do today, and we don't want that to be a stressful thing. We talk about how stress is for the unprepared, but it almost kind of sounds mean when we say that. But I don't mean it that way, and nobody does. It just means before you go to family barbecues, before you play video games, before you go bowling, before you go, skydiving, whatever, skateboarding, some big concert or whatever, just get your work done. It's the most important thing, is make sure that you're getting your work done for your college courses or whatever classes or training that you're doing. It's very, very important. As I was saying earlier, everyone talks about, planning and systems and goals and to-do list, and yeah, you got to do what's going to work for you and what's going to be best for you. But if you're taking too many courses and all the assignments end up being due around the same time, it starts to get pretty tough, and then you end up asking some teachers for late work and extensions. And while that may get approved, you got to remember, if too many students are asking for them things, teachers won't actually have enough time to grade work, depending on, the class. I mean, if it's, English class and lots of students are asking for extensions on papers, man, it's like hundreds and or maybe thousands of papers that, teachers got to grade with all the assignments, So I think as a student, none of us are thinking about that. I wasn't thinking about that. I wasn't thinking about, like, oh, I'll ask for an extension. As a student, I never thought about if I had something late or wanted extra credit. I never thought about, like, what the teacher has to go through with, how much grading they actually do have to have depending on the course, like, an English course or maybe a math course. I was just thinking about me, and you're probably thinking about you. And I get it. Yeah, we get it, and we care. So just be thoughtful. I think, teachers need to remind themselves that we're here to help the students. So if you need to approve a late work assignment from time to time, be kind, be nice, be there for the students and help them. I think sometimes it's possible that a teacher could, get marred or have kind of a bad past experience and feel like that, those couple experiences that a teacher had with a student, that they just end up like being kind of real, no late work for any student ever again or whatever. And it doesn't have to be like that. We got to consider case by case basis, make sure the syllabus policies are clear, make sure that we're following institution policies and that we have our syllabus policies. But being kind is the most important thing for all of us to do, and making sure to be kind and, of course, patient and flexible. But we do have to follow the rules. We can't make exception, for one student, gets late work or extra credit. Then you have to do it for all the class. So we have to be very, very careful about what we do and don't do, and making sure the policies are clear, and exceptions case by case, handled privately. Probably more than you want to hear on, late work and or extra credit. But I just feel like this is important for me to talk about right now for anybody listening. So, can you turn in a late work assignment for any of my courses? Yes. Will I approve it? Yes. Will I consider extra credit? Yes. But it's all case by case basis. I have a no late work policy, with the exception clause being, life emergencies that we handle privately, and then go from there. Extra credit, I would say, is definitely a rarity in my music appreciation or American music, but I'm open to it on like a case-by-case basis, based on whatever the emergency or request is. I don't mean that as a negative or dark thing by any means. I just want to make sure that I can grade everybody's work, give people feedback, because I'm not doing a bunch of auto-graded things. I'm doing papers and essays, and some multiple choice quizzes and some matching of vocabulary words. And the courses I teach, it's varied modalities and flow and assignments, and so I actually do have to read things in this elective course. So when I said earlier, chuckling about like extra credit or late work, I don't mean that in like a a mean way or a not cool way. I just mean that if you're in music appreciation class or American music class, man, it should be fun. It should be like a super cool, awesome, fun class. And you're learning vocabulary words, you're learning history, you're learning flow, and you're learning form, and classical instruments and modern instruments, rock instruments, rap and hip hop and country and blues and jazz and Mozart, Beethoven, Chili Peppers, Linkin Park, Eminem. It's like it just goes on and on and on. It's like really, really cool. I think maybe some of the late work actually stems from this. A student thinks they just know everything about music. They take the class, they find out there's a lot of stuff they actually don't know, and then maybe they're a bit overconfident and they just forget to do the work or don't do the work, or maybe they don't put in the kind of quality that they. Who knows? I don't know. But I do know that late work is something we need to rein in the late work for real. Like let's rein in the late work. It's better to turn in something than turn in nothing, because it's very disheartening for me to give out a bunch of zeros and say music appreciation or American music, and I get email floods once I give the zero. So you can't care about your grade after the zero. You need to care about your grade before any of that even happens. And for me, if someone's willing to get on a Zoom call or a Pronto audio call, or maybe meet in office hours and talk through whatever the emergency or concern was and how I can best help you succeed and enjoy the music class, I'm always willing to go the extra mile for any student that's willing to sacrifice their time to meet with me, to work it through. And yes, I'm happy to give a second or a third chance, but I can't make it the rule. It has to be the exception. So if you're taking too many classes, really try to kind of nail down like your load balancing. In college, you got to learn how to load balancing. Load balancing is real simple. It's just making sure to manage all the things that you're doing, family and life and work, job, career, loved ones, hangouts, fun, play. It's, whatever other elements there are. Like, learning to load balance is one of the most crucial things to learn while you're getting a college degree. You've got to learn to load balance. That's a much more systematic way of learning how to prioritize. And we talk about systems and to-do lists, but when you learn to load balancing is where you're creating systems to achieve those goals, and the load balance makes sure that things are weighted proportionally so that you're able to achieve all the things that you need to achieve without being stressed. Are you still going to have some stress from time to time? Yes. Do I have stress from time to time? Sure. It's part of being human. Do I make mistakes? Yes. Have I ever been late on an assignment as a student, or have I ever missed a deadline in my life, or asked for help or extension? Or yes, we're all human. We make those things, and I think if we just learn from them and just always try to get better and improve, it's all good. And if you're honest and sincere in communicating with bosses and teachers and professors, and exceptions can be made and things can be worked out, but again, it has to be that can't be the norm. That has to be something that is really needed because there's just something happening that's prohibiting you or just getting in the way of your success. We need to make sure to not live in the late zone. Let's get out of the twilight zone, the late zone. Let's I think late zone, twilight zone. Don't live your life in the late zone. Don't live your life as an extra credit assignment. What I say earlier, what's due tomorrow? You got to do today. And if you need help, reach out, get some help, ask questions. And remember, as I said, I care about all my students, and I want to help you. I just want you to help yourself. I want you to enjoy your life. I want you to have a great time. So, if you want to have fun in music appreciation, American music, if you want to have fun in calculus, biology, biomedical engineering, coding, being a nursing major, whatever it is, you gotta do the work. You gotta do the work and really work on that load balancing and focus and planning. And I'm not going to go through what to do with calendars and planning and to-do lists. As I've talked about a few times today, you got to find your flow and how you're going to get all that stuff done. But I will say it'd be nice if more students would just turn their work in on time. But if you don't turn your work in on time, you can't be afraid to ask for help, whether it's before or after. It doesn't hurt to ask. Communicate. Send Pronto messages, send Blackboard messages, email, ask for help. Teachers will help you. 9 times out of 10, maybe 9.9. I mean, teachers will help you if you reach out, if you ask. You gotta ask for help. You're not alone. You're not alone out there. We want every student to have an amazing journey and experience. I think we talk about how the journey is the reward. What does that really mean, though? Look, we talk about this whole journey thing as being I don't know, I guess when I think journey is the word, that's my thing. I'm all about the journey. So how do we kind of make more sense of that? Basically, I think a teacher's role, and maybe for me, I feel like I'm a Lego builder. You ever seen the Lego movie? I feel like I'm a master Lego builder with my students. I can have a student, and they may not be awesome yet. They've got a few gaps in their fundamentals, and I will do my personal best to fill in any gaps in their fundamentals and help them on their road to being awesome, or maybe they already are awesome, but a master Lego builder, so to speak. I mean, maybe some teachers see themselves as an inspirer, an encourager, a motivator. I feel like I'm a master Lego builder. I love puzzles, I love Legos, and I love helping students build their Legos, so to speak. It's my way of taking a student and helping them basically get things organized and improve and get better, and just kind of slowly teach them about systems to get them goals happening, and basically how they're doing things so that they can achieve their. I mean, it's what systems are all about. Systems are the things that you do to achieve those goals, whether it be linear, abstract, or whatever. I could talk all day about that. I feel like these things are important for all of us to be thinking about. So I don't know, Lego builder. If that sounds confusing, I guess I could even make it simpler. Because I'm all about journey as the reward. Even simpler than journey, which is my thing, or Lego building, which is my thing. I'd say that I don't think that I'm a dream maker. but I hope that maybe I'm helping students achieve their dreams. I think that's one of the big things. I want students to achieve their dreams. What can I do to help said student achieve their dreams? What can I be a dream builder, a dream maker, a dream helper? I don't know if I've got all the right words for this one, but I want us to be thinking about those things as teachers, and I want students to be thinking about that we're here for you and that we want to help you. So if you're watching this, either one of two things. You're watching this video going, oh my God, this professor just put up a video about late work. Oh, not again. Who does this guy think he is? I'll tell you who I think I am. I think I'm a teacher. I'm a regular dude. I'm a regular guy. I'm a professor. I ride a skateboard. I play drums and percussion. I love jamming on jazz. I'm actually about to go drum in the room right now. How about that? So if you made it this far in the video, you're probably pretty excited or pretty hyped. Just listen to some professor dude from far away that you've never seen before talk about music and late work and extra credit and all that kind of stuff. And you're like, huh, this is interesting. So what do I have to say as I close? Just stop living your life in the late zone. Stop treating life as an extra credit assignment. Know that teachers care and we want to help you. And students, just remember that your success is in your hands. And if you need help, all you have to do is reach out and ask. We're here for you. On that note, I got a drum. We'll see you later. Bye. Did I do a proper bye? I hope so. Drum time, jazz rehearsal. All right, see you later. Thanks for watching. Till next time, Professor Ron with some kind of journal funness and coffee time. All right, I'm out.